the quaint town of Calabar, where the sun dipped into the horizon like a ripe orange, a mysterious woman named Madame Cordelia arrived one day, carrying a large pot and a wooden mortar. Her beauty was undeniable, with skin as smooth as freshly harvested yam and eyes that sparkled like the stars on a clear night. She set up a small shop on the outskirts of town, where the air was sweet with the scent of blooming flowers. As she began to prepare her signature dish, sweet fufu, the aroma wafted through the town like a gentle breeze on a summer day. People from all walks of life followed the scent, their stomachs growling in anticipation. They discovered Madame Cordelia's shop, where she stood, bent over her mortar, pounding the fufu with a soft, rhythmic motion. The townspeople were enchanted by the taste and texture of the fufu, and soon, her shop became the go-to spot for breakfast and lunch. Customers raved about the dish, asking for more, and Madame Cordelia obligingly served them with a warm smile. However, unknown to the townspeople, Madame Cordelia was using a peculiar ingredient in her fufu. What they didn't know was that Madame Cordelia was using a secret ingredient in her cooking, her own urine. Every morning, as the first cock crowed, Madame Cordelia would wake up, urinate into a yellow rubber bowl, and then store it under her bed. Later, she'd carefully pour the urine into the boiling fufu pot. This unusual practice began when Madame Cordelia visited a native doctor in her hometown of Ogoja. Madame Cordelia had been selling fufu for years, but her sales were dwindling. She was tired of struggling to make ends meet, so she sought the help of a powerful native doctor. The doctor gave her a strong liquid potion and instructed her to drink it before sleeping. He told her to wake up at the first cock's crow, urinate, and use the urine to prepare her fufu. Your overnight urine will make the fufu very sweet and delicious, he said. But remember, always wake up at the first cock's crow. Madame Cordelia thanked the doctor and left. A few days later, she moved to a new town to avoid suspicion from anyone. She set up her fufu shop and started selling her unique dish. People were drawn to the aroma of her fufu, and soon, her shop was bustling with customers. As her business boomed, Madame Cordelia's life changed dramatically. She made a lot of money and bought beautiful African prints and nice beads. She was happy and content, but she never forgot the native doctor's words. One day, a handsome man walked into Madame Cordelia's fufu shop. He smiled at her and ordered 2 plates of fufu. Madame Cordelia served him with a smile, and after eating, he gave her 50,000 naira and told her to keep the change. Madame Cordelia was thrilled and thanked him. The man left the shop but returned the next day, doing the same thing. He kept eating at her shop and adding to her extra cash. Madame Cordelia was impressed by his kindness and generosity. As the days went by, the man, whose name was John, became a regular customer. He'd come to the shop every day, eat Madame Cordelia's fufu, and leave a generous tip. Madame Cordelia looked forward to his visit and enjoyed his company. One day, John summoned the courage to ask for Madame Cordelia's phone number. She smiled and gave it to him. He thanked her and walked away. Madame Cordelia was excited and thought to herself, "He's my favorite customer, and he's handsome." That night, John called Madame Cordelia, and they talked for over 30 minutes. From then on, they started spending most evenings together. After closing from the shop, Madame Cordelia would stroll back home with John, and they'd sit together, chatting and eating dried meats and roasted chicken. As time went on, John started spending the night at Madame Cordelia's place. They'd sit on the couch, watching movies and laughing together. Madame Cordelia felt happy and content, and she knew that she had found someone special. But despite her happiness, Madame Cordelia couldn't shake off the feeling that she was living a lie. She was using her urine to cook her fufu, and she knew that if anyone found out, they'd be repulsed. She was torn between her love for John and her secret ingredient. As the days turned into weeks, Madame Cordelia's relationship with John deepened. They'd go on dates, hold hands, and talk about their future together. Madame Cordelia knew that she had to tell John the truth about her fufu, but she was scared of losing him. One day, John asked Madame Cordelia about her fufu recipe. She hesitated, unsure of what to say. She didn't want to reveal her secret ingredient, but she also didn't want to lie to John. "I'll tell you someday," she said, smiling. "But for now, let's just enjoy the fufu," John nodded. And they continued to enjoy their meals together. But Madame Cordelia knew that she couldn't keep her secret hidden forever. She had to find a way to reveal the truth to John without losing him. As the sun set on another day, Madame Cordelia stood outside thinking about her future with John. She knew that she had to be honest with him, but she was scared of the consequences. She took a deep breath and decided to wait for the right moment to reveal her secret ingredient. As the days turned into weeks, Madame Cordelia's relationship with John continued to blossom. They spent every spare moment together, exploring the town, trying new foods, and laughing together. Madame Cordelia was happier than she had ever been, and she knew that she owed it all to John. But despite her happiness, Madame Cordelia couldn't shake off the feeling that she was living a lie. As time went on, John's frequent sleepovers at Cordelia's place made her worried. She didn't know how to tell him to stop sleeping over without hurting his feelings. One night, they had a romantic evening, dancing and kissing. They were so exhausted that Cordelia overslept and forgot to urinate at dawn. When she woke up at 9 a.m., she panicked and quickly urinated, then prepared fufu for the day. John helped her carry the fufu to her shop, but to their surprise, there were no customers. Cordelia knew something was wrong and decided to visit the native doctor in her hometown of Ogoja to find out what was happening. The journey to Ogoja was long and tiring, but Cordelia was determined to find a solution. When she arrived at the native doctor's hut, she was greeted by the familiar smell of herbs and incense. The native doctor listened to her story and nodded his head. "Your business is cursed," he said. "You must make a sacrifice to revive it." Cordelia was shocked. "What kind of sacrifice?" she asked. The native doctor looked at her with a serious expression. "You must sacrifice someone to revive your business. The spirit of the land demands it." Cordelia was horrified. She didn't know what to do. She thought about all the people she knew, but she couldn't imagine harming anyone. She looked at the native doctor, feeling confused and scared. She thought about the whole thing and eventually decided to sacrifice her lover John. She collected a liquid potion. She was instructed to put it in her bathing water, bath with it, before meeting with whoever she wants to sacrifice. She thanked the native doctor and journeyed back to her base. One evening, she showered and also sprinkled the water on her private area. Immediately John slept with her. He slumped and died. She felt confused and sad. She had known this would happen, but the reality was hard to accept. She remembered the native doctor's words and the charm she used, but seeing John lifeless was devastating. Tears filled her eyes as she held his body, wishing she could turn back time. The weight of her actions crushed her, and she wondered if it was all worth it. The silence in the room was deafening, and Madame Cordelia's heart ached with grief. She dug a pit behind her house and buried him at midnight. That night, after burying John, she couldn't sleep. The thought of him lingered. 2 days later, she cooked fufu and took it to her shop and customers flooded the shop. She smiled, happy her business has been revived again. Madame Cordelia's days returned to a sense of normalcy, but her nights were filled with terror. John's ghostly figure appeared in her dreams, his voice echoing the same haunting question, "Why did you kill me?" Cordelia's fear grew with each passing night, and she couldn't shake the feeling of being watched, despite the torment. Her business kept flourishing. Customers flooded her shop, and she smiled, feeling a sense of relief. But the peace was short-lived, as John's ghostly visits continued to haunt her. One sunny afternoon, desperate for a solution, Madame Cordelia rushed to the local bus park, hoping to catch a bus to the native doctor's place. She was determined to find a way to stop the hauntings. But fate had other plans. As the bus she boarded sped down the road, it suddenly swerved. And Madame Cordelia's world went dark. The bus had been involved in a fatal accident, and she was among the victims. The news of her death spread quickly, and the townspeople whispered about her missing lover and now her death. The story of the ill-fated lovers became a cautionary tale, a reminder of the devastating consequences of dark desires and loving blindly. As we reflect on Madame Cordelia's tragic tale, we are reminded that the pursuit of wealth and power through dark means can lead to devastating consequences. Her story serves as a cautionary warning to stay away from money rituals and evil sacrifices, which can ultimately destroy our lives and the lives of those we love. Instead, let's focus on hard work, dedication, and integrity. These values may not bring instant wealth, but they'll bring us peace of mind, strong relationships, and a sense of fulfillment. Food for thought: what's the true cost of getting rich quick? Is it worth losing our integrity, our relationships, and our peace of mind? Thank you for watching Madame Cordelia's story. If you took away valuable lessons from this tale, please like and share it with your friends and loved ones. Your thoughts and reflections are welcome in the comment section below. Until next time, stay blessed, and remember to prioritize the values that truly matter in life. Bye for now.